Welcome back, everybody. Today I got a 2011 Ford Flex Titanium with a 3.5 turbo, and we're going to be changing out our ABS pump motor, which is located right here, directly behind the battery. So what we're putting in is a used pump the customer has brought already. This is what it looks like. We've got our 4 lines up top. Gonna have to get loose. We've got 2 lines here, which are those lines right there. And it looks like we've got 2 mounting screws here, maybe 3, yeah, maybe 2, and then our wiring harness connector here. So let me gather up some tools here and be back to let the fun begin. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is get our battery out of here because it is definitely in the way. So what we've got is 8mm here, both our battery terminals, which this one really needs to be cleaned. And we got 2 10mm here, which you'll have to use a 1/4 inch ratchet with a deep 10mm socket. So I'm going to go ahead and get this out of my way, and I'll be right back. So now I got my battery out. What I also did was took the top of the air filter off, along with this rubber snout that sits in here, connects to the air cleaner assembly, just like that. And that comes off with a straight blade screwdriver. To get your air cleaner top off, you're going to need to disconnect your mass airflow sensor, which connector right here. Just simply squeeze it, it comes off. And you have 2 clamped right here. Push them to the left, just lift the whole assembly out with your air cleaner. So what I'm going to do now is crack my lines loose. These up here are 13s, and these I believe are maybe 14s. I haven't checked those. And then we've got 2 10mm that hold this thing in. One's right here and the other one's way back in the back there. So I'm going to go ahead and crack these loose, and I'll be back. So I've gotten my 4 lines loose here, and the tool that you're going to need to get those loose is going to be this here. It's a flare nut. I call it a flare nut crowfoot because it allows you to put a ratchet in there and an extension, and just crack those loose, and you can take your wrench and just twist them right out. So my next 2 lines I'm going to get loose will be these, and I'll be right back. So my 2 lines are loose, and they are a 15. And we're going to start to just twist those on out. So they are nice and free. Before I take these all the way out of here, I'm going to get our mounting bolts loose here. Right there. And we've got another one way back on the other side. I don't know if it's visible down there. So what I'm going to use to get that out is a 1/4 inch ratchet. So you've got a deep 10, about 5 inches worth of extensions. I'm going to go snake my hand right around here. Okay, hopefully that doesn't fall. It should start coming out. Yeah, this is going to be a little lengthy process here. Space is limited of where I can twist. So let me go ahead and get this loose and get that back one loose, and I'll come back. So got my mounting nuts loose. And like I said, these are a 10 millimeter. If you notice, I didn't take the nut off all the way. There's no need to take it off all the way because all it's doing is putting pressure on this rubber bushing, and that is held in on a bracket on this side here. So what I want to show everybody now is how to get the electrical connector off that's back here. And here's my donor part. So what we need to do to get this off is there's a little push down tab right here. I'm going to push down on that and lift up on our handle here, and this will essentially raise our connector right off, and that comes off just like that. All right, so what I'm going to do next is get the electrical connector off of this one. Try and show everybody in the process if I can. I'll get my hand around in here. Let's see. Okay, there we go. Now this is the part we need to press in right here. So I should be able to press this in and lift up on this tab if I can do it with one hand here. Might need two. Yeah, I think I'm gonna need two hands. But you can hear it being depressed. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop this loose and get it off of there. So after a bit of wrestling here, this thing finally came out. The only thing that was really holding it was this grommet that's on the bottom. So keep that in mind if you're going to take this out of here. Once you get those two mounting nuts loose, they go here and here. It still may be a bit of a problem to get it out of there, and that's just because that rubber grommet is holding it in on the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and finesse this new one back in. I shouldn't say new one, but new to the truck. I'm going to finesse this back into place and get everything positioned, and I'll be right back. So I've got this unit back in place and mounted, and I'm in the process of putting my lines back in now. Got my connector plugged back on there, and getting the two feed lines in here. Get our flare nut tool, and we'll tighten it up. I'm going to tighten these up one at a time, and once I get to that point, I'll return. And my module is in place. Got everything tightened up, and all we're going to do now is put the rest of this back together, put our battery back in, our air filter assembly and housing, and that should about conclude that. So let me get all the rest of this back together, and I'll come on back. We've got everything back in, everything is tightened up. So our next move is actually to bleed the brakes. We won't be doing that in this video. This was just to show how to replace the ABS pump module. So if that helps you out any, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the share button, and I will catch you on the next one.